Dubs. You
Hey
know what
now.
time? You know what time it is, though.
I do now.
It's interview time.
That's right.
This is the time in which we do something I like to call an interview. We have Arta here from Quinn the Brain, a Houston, Texas band. What Arta? What would you say? I said when we were talking a minute ago there, I said like rock and roll, punk rock. You guys are just heavy. I don't want to put it in a box.
Yeah, it's really hard. So we always put a lot of dashes in there because we're like, we don't know. We're punk. We're this, we're that, we're grunge, whatever. Honestly, we take whatever people say. We're like, yes, that's usually the answer.
As long as it's good.
Yeah.
We'll take it. But it's very raw. And I said that earlier. And a lot of times when you're listening to music, it seems like there's not a lot of connection there. You know what I mean? And when I'm watching you guys, I can see that you connect with your audience and it's like, it would be if I went to one of your shows, it seems like it would be very freeing because you get everything out when you're on stage.
Very cathartic. You got it.
That's the word I was going for. Cathartic. So what influenced you?
At some point I was just like a huge music fan. I just went to a lot of shows, did all the things. And then at one point you just like want to take it to the next level. And so that's kind of where I was. I was like, I wanted to hear a certain type of music and I couldn't find it beyond like a few artists that I like. So I decided to just kind of like do it myself and just see what happened.
That's why I did the show.
Is it really?
Honest to God. All right. I swear to God, I was like sitting there one day driving down the road, listening to pushing through the radio stations because I still like that. I like the style of radio. Yeah. So I was like pushing through and I'm like, I just didn't hear one fucking rock song. Not one. That can't be real. I mean, my favorite time in history is when it was like rap and rock were just all over the charts. It was so diverse and amazing. And I'm like, what happened to that? Is nobody listening to rock and roll anymore? So we started a show.
Well, I like it. I mean, that's exactly how it goes. And it ends up in like your hands kind of situation, instead of complaining, you're doing something about it. So
yes, you got to do something. Like, how much do you want to bang your head against the wall before you actually like, you know what if I just start a show? It's not like I have a degree in broadcasting. Why don't I just start a show and do it? And with you feel it and then you do the music. So like what type of stuff, because it's heavy. Yeah, what type of stuff like makes you like, what type of stuff do you like to write about?
Honestly, I just kind of write about my own personal experiences. I guess I have like a lot of people, we get angry.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. And instead of just like, doing destructive things, I just kind of like internalize it and write it and try to bring it out in songs. And it helps me because I get triggered pretty easily. So yeah. It's probably why all of our stuff is more on like the darker side. Cause it's not like, when I'm in a good mood, I'm not like, let's write a song. It's usually when I'm mad.
Anger is a gift.
Yeah, it sure is.
Rage Against the Machine. Anger is a gift. It is. It motivates like, man. And it comes through in the music that you're focusing on that. And that's good because I'm telling you, everybody can relate, whether it's a slow song or a heavy song. Like when I used to listen to like, Pantera and Biohazard. And back in the day, I'd be like, I can relate because I'm angry.
Right.
So it's good to know that they are too. Like Vulgar Display of Power changed I was just like, they got it. They got it.
That's like one of my favorite parts is when you kind of like, you feel like you understand whoever you're listening to. You're like, yeah, I get that. And to me, that's kind of like a magical moment that you have with, you don't know that person, but then you hear them talking about something that you relate to, and then you have that special moment. And I mean, it's really between just you, but like, that's what makes it like, cool. And you listen to it.
Yeah. So like all right, let's just get some random stuff. What was the favorite first album, or you can go CD. I usually say album because that kind of covers all three, and you can say cassette too, but I don't know why you'd have a cassette. But what was the first that you ever physically bought?
Oh,
and I don't care if it's embarrassing. That's cool because I'll
tell you, but no, it is embarrassing. Like the first, I think it's either a cassette or a CD. It was one or the other. It wasn't vinyl. I know that was Bewitched. Like, yeah. Like your face, you're like, what? I'm like,
awesome. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah. But to be fair, like, in the family that I grew up, like we didn't have a lot of money. So like I was very behind the times as far as like just buying stuff. We were like the last ones to get CDs or cassettes. Like, if it wasn't at Big Lots, I don't know if you know what that is.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. If it wasn't selling there, I didn't have it. Like, because everything else was too expensive.
Yeah.
So,
when I first moved here, I lived if it wasn't for Big Lots in the 99-cent store.
Yeah, like that was a thing. And unfortunately, that's where I got a lot of my music back then. It's just like, and I think you had to have a certain deal, because I remember other my friends would have albums. I was like, where'd you get that? And they'd be like, Best Buy. And I'd be like, oh, I can't go there.
Not dealing with the Best Buy prices right now.
Yeah, they were just so high back then.
It was brutal.
Yeah, it was. I think like a CD was like $18.99, and back then that was like a lot of money.
Yeah, remember when they came in the big cardboard? Like they came in those cardboard things that they had to outlaw because they were like literally wiping out half the rainforest to just make like Duran Duran CDs. Like it was ridiculous. Like Duran Duran killed the rainforest.
The rectangle ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have like one album like that, maybe. And I think they're really cool because they're huge. They're like smaller than vinyl, but bigger than CD or cassette. Mm-hmm. And I hate cassettes, by the way. Like I am not a fan. They warp. They don't last well. Like, and I feel like I've been scarred from like rewinding. I could never rewind.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, I want to listen to that song again. Let me rewind. And then you end up in the next song and you're like, God, I just want.
And if you didn't have the auto stop, you were like, stop, go. Stop. No, I just got to get to the start. Stop, go. Stop, go.
I was stop, go.
You'd go insane. See, that's probably, you should write a song about that. That's angry. That'd be an angry fucking track right there called The Rewind.
I know. I couldn't believe cassettes like made a comeback. I was like, really?
That's what I was going to ask you. Have you guys ever released any music on any of the old?
No,
like vinyl,
they're so cheap though. Like cassettes, like to actually press on a cassette it's almost stupid. Like we kind of should. The only reason we haven't is because we only have an EP out. So I was like, is it really worth putting 4 songs on a cassette?
And let's be like serious, and honestly, like how many people, and I mean that, how many people that do you know that have a cassette player? I don't have one.
I have one, but like,
you do?
Yeah, I have all.
Where'd you get it?
It's from back in the day. Like,
oh, you have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a hoarder. Like I hoard music. So like I still have my CD players. I still have all the, I have vinyl like players. I have multiple. It's not even just one. I have multiple ones.
Oh, that's the way to do it. One
for every room because I'm crazy. And I was like, I want to hear music wherever I go. But no, but to be fair, a lot of people, I mean, actually a lot of my friends have them too, but they're reselling them. So now you can find them at like Walmart or Target. Like it's very like it's out there because of the popularity comeback. You know what I mean?
I wonder why it came back really. I mean, like analog sound is beautiful and like it is. You can tell the difference when you're listening to vinyl and everything. But like it's got to be, like you said, one of the most inconvenient ways. It warps. And like if it gets hot, it's over. Like if you leave one of those in your car, you're in Texas, we're in California, done.
Yeah. It's funny. My very first car was this beat up old Honda that only had a cassette player. So I have a very epic collection of cassettes and half of them are warped. Cause like you said, we live in Texas and like back then it gets so hot that the leather seats, cause of course I had leather, would burn your skin off, including and damage all your, music stuff. So I still have them too, but because like I said, I'm a hoarder. I can't get rid of anything.
Or a collector. Let's change that to collector.
You're right. It sounds better.
Because the stuff that you have at some point, someone might have been like, Arta's kind of a hoarder, but now it's collectibles again. See, so all you got to do is wait long enough and your hoard becomes a collection.
That is true.
I've done it. I've done it. I'm speaking from experience. I wouldn't lie to you. There's a bunch of stuff that I have, including a CD player and an old school Kenwood receiver that I kept for so long that now people come over and they're like, wow, where'd you get that Kenwood receiver? I'm like, I don't know, like in 2000 or like, it was like 90 something. Like I've had it forever. I just don't throw stuff out.
Yeah, because why would you? You're like, I will eventually need to listen to this album and I would have to have something to listen on, I have friends who are like, oh, I don't even own any physical album.
I
I'm
know.
on Spotify, and it blows my mind because I'm like, not everything's online. I know this.
No.
I'll go looking for stuff, and I'm like, can't find it. And I was like, you know, and I don't want to be all like, oh, it's because I listen to obscure stuff. I don't. It's just like some people just haven't put it online because you have to physically do it yourself. And if that artist didn't do it, it's not fair. Like I literally just saw the other day that Kitty just posted Spit on Spotify. And
No
I was
kidding.
like, yeah. And I was like, you know, you guys have been missing that because I had to go to YouTube. I mean, I have the album, but I was like, every once in a while, I'll like to do digital stuff because I get lazy. And it wasn't there for the longest time. And now it is, but it's because it was on them. They hadn't just put it up there. It wasn't on there yet, but now it is. So,
yeah, I have the CD of that, those, man, they fucking rip.
Oh, you know, that was like, I remember buying that album, and the guy at the store was like, because I was young, and he was like, really? And I was like, yes. And he was like, you're cool. And I was like, thanks, you know, as a kid. But like, yeah.
That's a huge compliment from the record store, dude.
Yeah, it is actually.
That's like seriously like, wow, you know?
Yeah, no, that was a thing. Yeah. Because if you work, first of all, if you even got a job there, that was already hard enough because everybody wanted to work at a record store. So getting a job there was hard enough. And then I think you had to know things. You couldn't just be a dummy, right? You
have to.
And then that was a thing I remember because I bought that. And then I bought the most random thing at the time, which was funny enough. You remember a tattoo?
Oh, yeah. All the things I had running through my head, the Russian.
I bought that.
Yeah.
But that was before they blew up. I bought it so I buy things based on album covers. I buy things blindly. I was like, oh, that's a kind of a cool, they're single at the time. So it was just them in like a schoolgirl outfit. And I was like, girls and covers singing, sold, give it to me. And then they ended up blowing up like what? Months later, and I was like, I have this. Like
that was right around the same time as Kitty too, wasn't it?
It was. That's why I brought them together.
That was quite a man. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, what year was like? Guess what do you think year that was? 98.
Earlier? That's when it came out. No, it had to be later.
2000.
It's probably in the 2000s.
But like, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like these two fucking kick-ass. Female, not female, it doesn't matter. Rock bands. Well, the tattoo was more electronica. Yeah. But I'm saying like it was diverse. It was like kind of weird, harder Russian electronica and hard rock. Kitty was hard. Like they were good, and they were like they're tough too. They're like they're no joke.
I know, and I'm so sad. I never have seen them live, and like you know, I was like, man, why? Like, how has that not happened?
Yeah, seriously. They got to do something in Texas.
I think they have, you know, I remember one time they came through, and back in the day, they played somewhere really far. And I remember just being like, eventually, like maybe next time. And I regret, you know, I no longer do that. I don't do the next time thing because you never know. There is never a next time.
I know. I did it with AC/DC, and then they started to die. I could have seen AC/DC back in the day, and I was like, nah, I'll check them later. Well,
I've learned you just don't do that. Like, no,
you don't mess with rock and roll.
It doesn't happen. Yeah.
You never know if there's going to be a next one with some of the rock people.
That is so
some of them are really hardcore. They don't just get it out through the music. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. That is the way to like therapy, man. You're an artist. Artists have to either create, and if they're not creating, sometimes they get pretty destructive. So you got to create.
Well, you're not wrong. Yeah,
I know. It's create or destroy. That's an artist, because you're just, if you're not feeling the whatever joy of putting your art out there, you get upset because it really is great.
About that. That's actually a really good way of putting it. Cause I went backwards. I went destroy, create.
That's a good way to be.
Actually, it is because I got it all out of the way. So when people are like, so why did it take so long? I was like, cause I was destroying a lot of stuff, and now I'm different. Like, I mean,
because it's creator or destroyer. That's how I label every art, because I've done it. So I know what you're talking about. I destroyed for a long time before I was like, you know what I like? Making people laugh, doing a radio show. I'm done doing things just because, you know, like you said, you just destroyer. Sometimes you got to destroy. But what comes out of that is the art. And the art is what people remember. They don't remember you throwing a brick through an abandoned house window. They don't remember that.
Yeah, no.
They remember the bitchin' songs. So what do you guys got coming up next? You got the EP is out. Yeah. The video, let me get this up for the people. Wide Open.
Open wide. Yeah.
Open. Why did I say that back? What am I? I'm
okay.
got a little dyslexic with you. I'm okay now. Open wide. And that's going to be, that's out right now.
Uh-huh.
And we can play that song after the interview. If you would like to. Did you send it to us? Did I already play it? I think I played one of yours.
I have no idea.
I played one of them. I forget we do one show a week and there's so many bitchin' new artists that I'm like I'm just, it's constant new music all the time.
That's a good problem to have.
It makes me so happy. I got to be honest with you. Like putting on the headphones and listening to you guys and these amazing rock bands, it really is very fulfilling because it's good to know that badass music's still out there and people are still taking it in. It's not all cookie cutter bullshit. There's actually real musicians out there slapping you in the face if you're in the front row, just getting there, getting just full on. I love it. So we'll play that then. If we haven't played it, we'll play it after the interview. Do you guys have any shows or anything coming up?
Yeah, we do. We're playing a show in 2 weeks, August 5th at Black Magic Social Club, which is this new venue that just opened on the east side. It's pretty awesome. And it's actually our, we had done this Long River Sessions showcase, or we did this Long River Sessions live show, I think December of last year. And it's those guys. They put on a show together. A lot of people have been on their like YouTube show. And so they put a show together of 5 bands that were on their show. And we're going to be playing on that showcase.
I love it.
That'll be pretty cool. Cause like, I've seen even though I haven't seen the other bands in real life, I've seen their episodes on YouTube. So I was already excited because I was like, oh, I know who they are. Like, that'll be cool to see, and I think we're headlining that show. So that'll be really fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. That's like the serious highlight.
Well, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And the EP's already out.
Yeah, it's been out. We've been working on a couple new singles, but like just things keep getting in the way, like as it does in life. Like we were supposed to go in this week to record, and then our poor bass player has COVID right now. So like,
yeah, you can't make any solid plans these days.
No. So that's what keeps happening. It's just like things like that. So we're hoping to have the next single out by October, which is our next tour. So we're doing like a little mini tour coming up too. And we're hoping it all comes out at the same time, but the way things are going, you never know. But like, I mean, it's going to happen,
Well, no matter what, we'll play the single when you get that out. Because you can always do the single.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're going to do. I was like, my only goal is to get one song out. One. If I could just do the one, we can fix the other stuff later. You know what I mean? Let's just get the one. I'm ready for new music. We've been sitting on like a pile of songs for way too long. It's just that, COVID and everything and the world and this and XYZ has happened. So now like my focus after our last show, which will be in November, I'm actually, I'm taking us off the market for like 6 months at least. Cause I want to just like record and put new music out. And the thing is, I've learned recently is that I'm not the kind of person that can play shows and record and do this and do that. Like, I just can't. Like, I just need to like shut it down. So I told the guys, after November, we're going to shut it down for like 6 months. We're going to write, we're going to record, and then we'll come back with vengeance. So that's the plan. Yeah.
No, because you got to hyper focus on one thing.
Yeah. I thought I could it all, but I can't.
Yeah, but you know that about yourself, and that's what's important, because then you won't try to do it the other way and get all freaking flustered. You know what I mean? It's too much.
Yeah,
you got to just focus.
Yeah, and I've learned, but it's been a slow learning game because no one ever tells you anything, right? You learn this all on your own, and everyone is completely different. So some people are like the superheroes, but we all have like regular jobs, so we also have to like do that as well. So if we were just musicians and we could do all of it together, but because we have like regular jobs on top of it and family stuff, like we just can't. So
it's the struggle. It's the struggle of being a musician, and why it's such an admirable thing to be, because that's exhausting. You have to make money and then you do your art, which you really love, but that's not making you money. But it will. That's the thing. The question isn't that it will make you money. It's just how much are you going to make? Because you guys are too good to never see any financial gain from it. Just that doesn't make any sense. So like, you know what I mean? It's just how much you're going to make, how far are you going to get? How big is it going to get? It's already big. We're doing an interview. You're already doing it.
Yeah.
So now it's just
rolling. So it's just like, let's just
how
see
big.
Yeah, that's what I always say. Let's just see where this goes. Like that's my attitude towards everything. Let's just see. Like, you know, I have very low expectations, which makes it, you know, better because I feel like it's not like I'm gonna go home crying because something didn't happen. I'm just like, okay, well, I didn't expect any of this to happen. Honestly, the fact that I have a band and has been going for this long is amazing in itself. And I feel like a 15-year-old me would be like high-fiving myself because
nice.
Like, you did it.
That feels so good because it's the creator. That's creator mentality right there. Just let it go. Because it is. You created and now you just let it. I did like a thing. No one can see this, but I'm doing like a baby bird thing. Like it's just let it free. Arta, let it free.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's exact. I mean, it's funny too, because like recently I learned, you know, I've been going through all these like transformations as far as like just learning things about myself. And I realized that, you know, I guess I'm a little bit more of a perfectionist than I realized. I didn't think I was. And then I told my bandmates and a few other people, and everybody was like, you just figured this out? Like, you just realized this about yourself? And I was like, yeah, because I never thought anything we did was perfect. And they're like, are you kidding me? So yeah, now I'm like, okay, so I'm all about the let go mentality now too. Cause I'm like, you're right. Like, you know, sometimes you sit on things and you're like, no, let's just,
and it's art. It's art. It organically finds its people too. It organically just honestly, it sounds so cheesy, but it's like the leaf in the breeze. Like it's just going to land where it lands. And the most important thing is that you put it out there because there's so many people I know from doing this show that love what you do.
Yeah, no. And no, that's awesome. But like, you're right about that. Cause it's just like, there's billions of people on this planet. So someone is going to like your stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, like you're going to get like the haters, and then you're going to get the people who love you. And like, honestly, you're going to get both. Like it's inevitable. I welcome both sides. I'm like, we're here. It's cool. And, you know, and that's basically all you can do. So I'm excited.
And it's enough.
To find people.
What you're doing is enough to stir emotions in the haters or the lovers. And that's art. That's art.
Well, I know. Anytime that we get any kind of like anything, I'm always like, well, you cared enough to comment. So like, whether you like it or not, you still got something out of this. Like it still made you do something. So that's pretty funny.
Thanks for calling in. Did you call in? We never say what we did. Thanks for videoing in.
Yeah.
It never sounds right.
No, doesn't it? Right. Yeah. No, Colin. Yeah. Sure. We'll go
think of something. We'll think of something. Next time you come on, we'll have a better one. Quinn the Brain, Open Wide, we're going to play next.